Is my Mill as irritating as I think she is, or am I overreacting? I don't want to see her weekly or fortnightly. Almost 2 months postpartum, so apologies if my post sounds scatterbrained. Before birth we told Mill we're having no visitors in hospital or anywhere until we say we're ready, cause we wanted to bond/figure this out/avoid germs as first timers. She stormed out in a rage. That visit, Mill had brought me some sweets for my birthday, which she's forgotten every other year but obviously did a last-minute dash as my partner stupidly reminded her. Best thing is she knows I can't eat what she bought me, as she knows about my health issues. She even addressed it 2 or 3 times. "Oh, I bought you these sweets that you can't eat anyway. Haha." Then she asked how my health was going, clearly knowing full well that the food she bought me would have messed with my health and, in turn, my baby's. Not sure if this is dittiness or plain old passive aggression. We had a video call with her after we got home from hospital. Then she texted asking to see my grandson and asked for clarity on why we had these rules. Partner explained it to her. Apparently she said she isn't newborn obsessed, but has cried worrying about my partner and I every single night, and she prefers toddlers cause they're more interactive. Partner thought to give her a chance, but I wasn't convinced. So Mill did visit. She had said she'd only be half an hour, but she stayed for at least 60 to 90 minutes. I wouldn't mind if she didn't constantly talk about herself and herself and herself. It would also be nice if she asked how we were going and actually listened to us, rather than just tell us pregnancy and birth stories of her own and everyone else she knows. We also asked she didn't get close or touch Bub, which she did, and which I yelled at my partner for not reacting at the time when she kept rubbing Bub's foot. It's the principle here, cause she irks me so much and we want to be more active regarding teaching consent. As she left, she commented same time again next week, which partner and I ignored. Now 2 or 3 weeks later she's basically inviting herself over again with a passive-aggressive text. Apparently she hopes we're sleeping better and Bub is settling in more. No, we're not. It's been hell and I'm averaging 3 to 4 hours sleep split up over the day. But she doesn't really give a toss, and nor do I believe she has any respect for either my partner or me, and she sure doesn't give a heck about us wanting to teach our kid about consent, cause she'd eat up Bub if she could. If she does visit, it would be 2x in a month, and no fucking way is that acceptable in my eyes. Before pregnancy, she hardly visited or contacted my partner. She's always only talked about herself and stories of everyone she knows. I've always felt she looked down on me because I don't have a real job, i.e. I'm not in a traditional industry like teacher, doctor, engineer, nurse. She's always tried to romanticize my cultural background, asking if my parents were refugees who fled to Western country and being disappointed every time I tell her they weren't. She also thinks she's an expert on my cultural background because she's watched Crazy Rich Asians. I would normally laugh hard at this, but I really just want to scream, and she kept asking how to say grandmother in my language. I told her twice before the birth and she ignored me because it wasn't the word she thought it was. She also clearly doesn't believe, or listen to, a word my partner and I tell her about my and Bub's health worries. Before her first visit, she had told my partner how she spoke to a midwife in the family. Midwife relative explained a heap of stuff to Mill, which seems to have made Mill think she's even more of an expert on our lives. FFS. Not sure why she never just asked and listened to us when we told her this info. Also, as I said to my partner, why did she need clarity on our no visitor rule if she supposedly knew all this stuff from speaking to the midwife relative? Phil, no longer with Mill, funnily rolled his eyes when my partner told him about Mill and said, I guess she doesn't remember how she treated my mother when you were born, as she only wanted her own mum around. Mill has bitched about her ex-Mil to us but never tells the whole story, only enough to tease and imply ex-Mil was oh so dreadful, but she was the dutiful dill. To top it off, leading up to the birth, Mill started being a right C** about our dogs. I know she hates one of them because it isn't posh and fancy enough for her. She's all about status and prestige, it seems. She kept saying we had to look at getting rid of them, making them both live outside, putting them in a heated shed in the garden. She was shocked they followed commands. She kept saying one of them wanted to eat our baby. These comments really tipped me over the edge at the time. I lost my shit, and without the pregnancy hormones I still would have started scream ranting about her to my partner, who was equally appalled by her. My dogs are my first babies. My mother, who hated dogs when I was younger, she was a mad clean freak, actually adores my pups and lets them all over her frickin' lounge, lick her face, and she buys them barbecue chicken and cucumber every week. Honestly, I knew Mill was self-obsessed, but I didn't think she was a soulless monster until the repeated anti-dog comments. Comnet. It sounds like you both have entirely different values/perspectives. You may be a little overbearing, but I don't think that's your fault. You're mothering how you want to mother, and she's not respecting that boundary. Sounds like she's not a great person, but not as bad as I think you see her. You're so stuck in baby world, which is okay, and she doesn't see it, and that's also okay. Up until the dog comment I felt like everything was okay. If I were your friend, I'd say to keep what you're doing and keep holding up those boundaries. If the walls get knocked down now, imagine years from now when she actually likes the age of your kid, lol. She may learn, and she might not. But it will help affirm your partner on your expectations for guests, and he will hopefully want to reinforce them as much as you do. You're killing it. Don't let this get you off track. As long as the baby is being loved, and getting all their basic needs met, then you're good. Maybe she just wants to eat your baby anyways. I hope you and your partner are on the same page. Since Mill wasn't interested in being in partner's life before you got pregnant, and definitely wasn't in your life, then you and partner need to be straight with Mill now. So next time Mill calls/texts asking about another visit, partner needs to respond. Hi mom, we've seen you 3 times in the last month, which is more than I've seen you in the last 2 years, adjust the times as needed. You've made it clear you aren't interested in me or so don't poprox, just low. If at some point you want to build up our relationship, we can work on that. But right now so don't poprox and I are okay with keeping the same level of interaction with you that we had prior to having our child. We will be happy to arrange a get-together at. Thanks for this, DH, and I are learning to be more direct and firm as she's not listening. I'd love to be as blunt as your example TBH. I guess she's only ever interested in us when we can give her a reason to be, e.g. having a kid is another trophy for her. But yet I just have to mentally get to the DGOF stage so I can block her out. I'll get there. That doesn't work for us, we'll let you know when we're available or give her another time so it's every 3 weeks. If baby needs to nurse or nap, that's cue for grandma to go. Time for Bub's nap/feed. We're both going to lie down. It's been nice seeing you. As my kids got older I started prepping dinner and my husband would know that or naps or feeds was cue for get out of my house. Next story 2. Mill/Phil just asked if our baby is my husband's because I didn't change my last name yet. I am livid. My husband and I got married last year, bought a house, went on a bunch of trips, and then I got pregnant. I have been intending to change my last name, but we had flights booked for the end of last year already and I just didn't want to deal with the hassle of changing my passport and flight tickets, on top of all the other paperwork I have to update like house title, car loan, finance accounts, etc. etc. Then I got pregnant in January and a lot has been going on, so I just haven't changed it. It's not that I don't want to, I just haven't done it. But this doesn't mean I cheated on my husband and got pregnant with someone else's child. I am 8 months pregnant now. Today my in-laws called my husband and the first thing they ask is, it seems your wife hasn't changed her last name. Why hasn't she done it yet? What's the baby's last name going to be? Are you sure the baby is yours? Edit. My in-laws have never liked me because I'm not traditional like them. They don't like that I have a career because they think women should be housewives and stay-at-home moms. My mill has lectured me that women cannot both work and be a good mom, which is so annoying/rude because I grew up with a working mom. Thankfully, my husband has always been on my side and has never pushed those outdated values on me. I'm gonna take the advice. Next time they ask, we are going to say my husband is changing his last name LOL, just to mess with their heads and make them mad. Also, thank you for sharing that people don't always change their last name right away. Maybe it will take me 10 to 15 years to change it, or maybe I won't ever change it because it is a hassle. Who cares? It doesn't define our relationship. Again, thank you all for the kind words. I appreciate it so much and don't feel so alone. Comment. I've been married 5 years and I still haven't changed my name. What's the problem? I'm from a country where we don't change our names, and to be honest I can't understand the custom. It's so backwards, so misogynist to me. Other thing I don't like is kids having the father last name by default. I told my husband the kids will have his last name when he can be pregnant, so my kid has my last name. We are in 2023. Next time tell them to go back to the 50s if they are so fond of their shitty ideals. I changed my name when I got married, but mainly because I couldn't stand my family and the name that went with it. I was quite happy to change my name to my husband's. Changing your name or not is a private and very personal decision. In my culture, I'm from Europe, we do not do that. In fact, we can put the woman's last name first for the child and the father's second. The tradition of putting the man's last name so that he knows it belongs to him is extremely patriarchal, and you can if you want, but you definitely don't have to do it just because it's a tradition. I hope your husband knows how to set proper boundaries after that comment, and even going no contact for at least some time. How disrespectful.